Hello, hello! Welcome everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. So, as the description says, today is part 2 of the phoneme exercise we were doing during the last stream. So, for today's stream, I was hoping to continue with what I was talking about before, and this time add in posing mechanics, or posing principles, into the basic jaw, lip corner, up and down pass that we had done during the last stream, which tends to be more of a kind of normal workflow because as we saw last week, even though I got better results, or sorry, last stream, we got better results just by doing those simple passes, but it still wasn't quite right. It was kind of bland, and because I had just done everything symmetrically and kind of boringly, for lack of a better word. So that's going to be my focus for today. Now, first of all, hello Daniel, hello Kung Pao Chicken, awesome username by the way. That is a fantastic username. Sorry, I keep looking over because I'm still setting things up here, but I love, one of my favorite things about streaming so far has been seeing the creativity in people's usernames. It's so cool. So for today we'll be jumping straight into Maya. As usual, I make myself hungry. Now I'm getting hungry. I haven't eaten lunch yet. No, I haven't really eaten lunch yet, so I just had a little snack. So now I'm getting hungry too. Oh, hopefully you won't hear my stomach grumbling. Yeah, we'll be jumping into Maya today pretty much right away, but if you do have questions during the stream, as always, definitely let me know. I'm always happy to answer questions. For anyone new to the stream, there's my cat. Oh, that side. There he is, sleeping right now, but he might wake up and start yelling. So he's a very old, cranky cat, so it's he's kind of deaf, so he's kind of loud. You'll hear him. He won't sound like a cat. He sounds like a screaming child. It's, for anyone who's been in the streams and have heard him, you can attest to this. Haven't eaten lunch. It's 3 p.m. Yeah, my eating schedule is kind of all over the place. But let's dive into things here. I'm going to switch over to my desktop. Bloop. There we go. And just for anyone who hasn't seen what we worked on last stream, here is an example of the lip sync I had done last stream. So last stream I focused on two things. The first one, I did a pass on a line of dialogue, but I only used the Phoneme library. A Phoneme library, for anyone who doesn't know, is a library of poses that focuses on the phoneme. So if you've ever studied animation or things like that, it's the A, E, I, O, like those basic shapes there. And I applied those straight onto a rig and called it a day. And it gave me some really interesting results, which we'll see in just a second. After that, I did a pass where I didn't quite do the phoneme shapes per se, but I focused on the flow of the mouth, doing a jaw pass, lip corner pass, and then kind of the lips up and down. And I added a little more to it than that. But it was very basic. But like, we'll play it here and we'll see which one reads better. So let me turn up the volume here. I don't want to blow out everyone's eardrums, and let me lower the music just for a second, just so you'll hear the voice a little better. So the first pass is the phoneme pass, and then it'll just play to the next one, and then the next one is the one that I did manually. So here we go.
No Bob, no Bob, no Bob, no Bob, no
So
Bob, no Bob.
that first one
No
there,
Bob,
that was
no
the phoneme,
Bob,
and then this one
no
here,
Bob,
that's the one I
Bob.
had done.
No Bob, no Bob.
Now, I don't know how well the
No
stream
Bob,
is showing this frame
Bob,
rate
no
wise,
Bob.
but if I scrub through this, you'll notice that the first line, it's very busy. This is the problem with using a straight pose library method, is you're going to get this, where the mouth just chatters. So we can see, if we watch the jaw as it goes up and down, it's just very poppy. It's constantly moving. And then the corners of the mouth, if you watch those, they don't have a flow. For example here, they just snap right back from being really forward and down to being up. So there's no flow, there's no arcs in the corner of the mouth, it's just poppy. And what that creates is animation that is hard to follow. We're not understanding what he's saying. Now, this next method is just focusing on simplicity. Again, jaw, mouth corners, lips. Not really shaping anything yet, no posing principles, but just by applying those, which we can then add more complexity on afterwards, we get this. So compared to before where we had 3 or 4 big jaw movements, this one we have one big jaw movement, get a little bit here, then a big pop, and then a little movement there. So we really only have one big moment where the jaw opens, and the rest is simpler. If we watch the mouth corners here, you'll notice that they're moving in arcs. They're not having these pops in all sorts of different directions. Now, I didn't clean up the arcs yet. This was a first pass. But you'll notice that it comes down, then kind of arcs upwards, and then back down. It's almost a figure 8 right there, if you kind of watch that mouth corner. And then it loops back around. So it's kind of just doing a figure 8 motion if we watch it. And now, can I slow this down here, I wonder? Let's see. Video. I thought I could. Speed. There you go. So let's put it down to a half speed and I'll just mute it here. So hopefully this will help make things more clear. So you can see again, that first one, very poppy. Second one, smoother. Kind of a little boring in terms of the actual expression, but it reads. And that's the big thing. If you can get your mouth movement to read, that's more important than a lot of crazy expressions. Because we can always add those expressions on top. So I just wanted to show this here as a start, and here we have it in Maya. So you'll see. You can even see the curve of the jaw. Look how crazy that one is. 1, 2, 3 big spikes there compared to just one big spike, and it doesn't pop straight back down afterwards. So that is what we covered last week. If you're interested in that and weren't here, there is a recording of that, so you can watch that whole process. For today, I want to do a couple other lines of dialogue. We'll see how much time we have here. And this time I want to focus on expression as well as getting that emotion and lip sync reading through. So it's going to be 3 different things: emotion, expression, which is similar but not quite the same, and then lip sync. Because again, if I'm doing lip sync and trying to get the lips to match a line of dialogue, I need it to look good. I need it to seem like he's actually saying that line of dialogue. So for this one, let's see.
Hello, Bob.
This one's going to be a little bit more of an angry voice. So I don't know how well you guys can hear this. Let me play this.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
It's more of a hello, Bob. Instead of hello, Bob. This big, bright and happy guy. Now it's going to be a little bit angry. So we'll do a little bit of a different dialogue piece today just to be different. It would be a pain to do the same dialogue 3 times in a row. But again, I want to sell the expression on this. So let me just double check I've got everything set up here. Pretty good. Hey, and as usual, if you have questions, feel free to ask. At any point, just interrupt me, let me know. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out a starting point. So my dialogue here, and actually, before I forget, I should open up my Phoneme, the phonemes that I created, the X sheet that I created. Not many people that I know use X sheets nowadays, but I still find them to be very helpful. So let me open that up here. And where did I... There you go. So this is the X sheet that I drew up. And it's basically just allowing me to see exactly when certain lines are delivered. So I can easily see my timing and when specific phonemes are being said. So I'm just going to put this, let's dock it right there, and just squish it in, like so. And make sure that I can see my frame numbers there. Perfect. Just like that. Cool. So let's get started. Our first key is going to be on, or at least the first dialogue key here is going to be on frame 66. So I'm going to go at least probably 6 frames before that, just to give myself time to read that first pose. So probably on frame 60, we'll set our first key. So for this, I'm just going to select the whole head, set a key, and let's get started. Make sure my graph editor is lined up here. And the first thing I need to do is I need to reset his face. So I'm going to open up my pose library here. Now, the pose library is a great tool. I know I keep kind of, I don't want to talk against it, because a pose library or any library like this is immensely helpful. But the big thing is you need to know the basics before you start just throwing things into there, or else it can really wreak havoc on your animation and make it harder to fix later on. So I'm just going to apply that, get him back to a nice basic shape here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make an expression for him. Now I'm going to focus mostly on the lower mouth, but I'm going to add in a little bit of the eyes as well, just for basic posing. And this is going to take a little bit, because the first pose is always the hardest. If ever you're starting out with animation, or even when you've got experience and you feel like my posing is just so slow, that's natural. Whenever you're posing things at first, it's going to be slow, because you're going from a default rig position to something that's complex and interesting, and it just takes some time. So right now I kind of want a little bit of a sneer, kind of like he's just seen someone he doesn't like and it's, hello Bob. So it's going to be a little bit of a squint, a little bit of a, I don't really want to talk to you. So let's see. Let's take this mouth corner and make sure my tablet's working properly here. And just kind of bring that back here. Let's see. I really want to exaggerate this as well. So push that in there. Bring the lip in. There you go. And unlike what I did last time, I'm not going to rely on symmetry. So I want to really sell the asymmetry of the mouth, of the face, and push this to be more interesting. So let's see. I can just see a little bit of his eyes there. That's good. So let's see. He's going to be scrunched up on this side. And actually, before I do this, let me set a key on the whole face here. Just to make sure I've got all the controls. And then set a key there. Perfect. Okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. So let's just get that nice. And you'll see me doing the same face. Whenever I'm posing out faces or even hands or poses, I find it helpful to like take on that expression and just kind of feel it. What's this character doing? So it's like, hi, hey Bob. So it's this kind of, I don't like you, and he's gonna be a little bit more. Let's see. The angle of the face. This is one of those things I talked about in one of my previous streams. But when dealing with eye direction, you kind of want to create a flow to the character, or to where the character is looking, or where they shouldn't be looking. Basically, for example, if I go like this, I get this kind of. No, wait. My hands, they don't work the way I want them to. So this is down, this is up. I get a V shape, like I can't bend my wrist that way. That way. Which points in that direction. So I want to kind of create that here a little bit. So it's going to be lower that. Let's see. And then let's push the sneer on this side actually. So this is going to be a little higher. This is going to be lower. And I'm just going to put a very basic sneer in here for now. Ugh. And already we're starting to get a little bit more personality in here. Just with some very slight like pose changes here. And let's just make this a little clearer so we can see his eyes. And let's see, can I get a little bit more? Nah. Okay. I was hoping to see a little bit more over his brow there, but that's fine. We're focused on the mouth here. Okay, so we've got the eyes. So, you know, expression like that is kind of down on this side, kind of coming in. And let's see. Just really want to sell those brows first. Let's see. Oh, but this is what about Bob feels. Let's see. Let's see. A-Tools just saved me from losing an hour of work. Nice. A-Tools is awesome. A-Tools, it's a plugin you can get for Maya. It's completely free. It's actually what you can see at the very bottom edge of Maya right here on my window. So I'll give you a link to it if you're interested. It's a really great plugin suite that has all sorts of really cool features for it. And there's a new version that's coming out called Animbot. They just started a Kickstarter for it. I don't know if their Kickstarter is still running, but it's going to be a big improvement. Which is really cool because it's already a fantastic suite of tools. So yeah, definitely check it out. It's very, very helpful. I have to honestly say I don't use it as much as I probably should, but that's mostly because the work I do, I can't really use plugins because a lot of the stuff I do has to rely on people. It has to come across for people who have plugins and who don't. So I wish I could use it more, but unfortunately I can't use it too much. But from the little I have used it, it's so good. Such a great suite of tools. And even if I don't use it, I have it installed. Like whenever I need something, it's right there. Okay, so let's push this a little bit more. I really want to put that. Ugh. Hi, Bob. Now, I've got the very basic expression here. Now, we're kind of going into expression territory that with this. But one thing to keep in mind with expressions is it's not just the big key things: eyebrow, mouth, done. There's so much more that goes into it. And this is why that first pose can take a little bit. Now, you don't always have to do all of this all at once, but I'm just going to kind of get a nice starting pose and then we'll work out of that. So one thing I need to do is make sure my eyelids aren't pressed through his head. So I'll take that, and then as I'm working here, I'm just going to shape that eyelid a little bit there. And then the big thing that people forget is to move the that skin over top of the eye right there. That's this fold right here. Not the eyelid itself, but that line right there. That's a very important thing to move around and readjust. So you'll see right there. That'll give the eyelid fleshiness and just more mass to it, so that it doesn't feel like it's just an eye pivoting in a skull in a very weird way. It's going to give that muscle and sinew. Well, there's no muscle or sinew there, but it's that feeling of skin, of things being attached. So I'm gonna bring that there, lower a little bit, and then shape that lid just a little bit more. Then just gonna blob a little bit of a squint. So this eye is gonna kind of come down a little bit there. And shape that as well. Eyelids, if you're working with eyelids, they need to be shaped. Just using the basic default shape of an eye is not going to get you the results you need. It's just going to feel fake. Because even with your own eye, if you look around, you'll notice, and look in a videotape yourself and just zoom in on your eyes and look around. You'll notice that the eyelids are always shifting. So I'm going to get that in place there, and then again, find that control for the skin over the eye. Now, you'll notice sometimes those controls can be a little tricky to find on certain rigs. Let's see. Where is it? This is the eyelid itself. There it is. Hidden right there. This is where a GUI picker is very useful. Now, I don't have my GUI picker installed right now, so let's bring this down. So, and you can see what a difference it makes when it's too far up. We get that kind of weird eyelid, just pure eyelid right there. If I bring it down, we get that fleshiness to the eye, the feeling of an actual brow. I can even lower it on this side a little bit more. Something like that. So that's already helping quite a bit. Let's see. I need to do the lower lids now. Bring that up. Let's see, how far do I want to go? Yeah, I guess we can push it quite a bit here. It's always better to exaggerate and then have to pull back than not exaggerating enough. So let's lower, bring that up as well. Again, don't forget the extra skin there. It's a little detail, but it makes a huge difference. Then I'm just going to lower this here, just to get that shape of the orbit there. So something like that, and shape that eyelid just a little bit. Let's see, this control, I believe. Push that a little bit. I want to get this nice kind of line through the eye here. And push that skin up as well, just to get that connected feeling to the eye. Just a tad higher there, and I'll lower that here. There we go. So that already adds a lot. By adding in all that extra, those little bits for the eye poses, it really adds more to the pose itself. Than if you just kind of do eyebrows and then just a little basic lids. That's not going to get you far enough in a pose. And like I said at the beginning, oftentimes you don't have to do this for the very starting pass, but it's something that you'll need to address at some point. Now, the other thing we have to keep in mind is we've got the eyes, the mouth, we have to do in between as well. So for example, this cheek here, as he's putting this expression, that mouth is going up, it's pushing the cheek. So push that up here, and then push this back ever so slightly. It's just going to add a little bit of shape variation to that face. And then here, kind of goes the other way. That cheek comes down, and then stretches in a little bit. Let me reset that here. Make sure I'm adjusting it properly. There you go. So we've got that. We've got the nose. This is, again, one of those things that people tend to forget about is if you push up on that side, the nostril is going to go up too. Now, there's a lot more that'll happen with the nose, but we can talk about that as we go. But let's add a nasofold here. There's that line right in there. And let's see. This one probably doesn't need it. I could probably just move it down and rotate it down ever so slightly. Okay. So we're almost there. At this point, I'm not going to do the exact mouth here. So I'm not going to take all these individual controllers and start shaping the mouth just yet. Because I'm doing a lip sync pass, I want to make sure that I get the entire pass working first, jaw, corners, all of that, before starting to apply all the little nitty-gritty details, or else I'm just going to be making my life more difficult. And the same with eyes. Like you can see, I posed out all these eyes here, super in detail. If I was animating the eyes for the entire shot, I would be doing a first pass on them first with animation, and then coming through to add these details. So let's see. We've got all of this. Let's just set a key. Okay. And then he'll hold this for about 6 frames. Let's see. Right about there. Okay. So with this, we've got a basic expression. We can, at this point, really get started. So again, for anyone who saw the previous stream, this is going to be very similar. I'm just going to go through and add the first the jaw pass, corner pass, and then lip pass on here. So a jaw pass is pretty simple. It's just going forward and animating the jaw up and down. So with this line, he's going, "Hello, Bob." He's not really opening his jaw. And this is the important thing. If I was using phonemes, it would be "Hello, Bob," big and open. He's going, "Hello, Bob." Like just, "Hello, Bob." It's very, very tight. So I'm just going to find those big moments. So it's, if I put my hand here, I can kind of feel those moments. "Hello, Bob." Bob has a little bit of a down. So I'm going to find that moment. And I can see it right here. This is the nice thing with an exposure sheet. I don't even have to scrub through. I can see that Bob, it's right about 76, 77. Now, for some reason, my wave here, the actual line, is offset. Let me just try putting that off and then on again. There you go. Now it's in place. That's better. I can actually see where I'm working now. So this is going to be the big jaw motion right here. The big open. Now, big for the scene. So I'm just going to open his mouth enough. Let's take this lip and move it down just for now. And just enough to kind of get a separation in the teeth here. Bob. And I'm going to push it a little bit more than I'm actually doing right now. Like I go, "Hello, Bob." There's a little bit of a gap. I want to push it a little bit more. Just again, it's always nice to exaggerate first. So the other one is hello, Bob. It opens up again at the end. So Bob. Let's see. 83. So set a key there, and this is just going to be maybe about there. And you'll notice right now it's not really working at all, but I want to get those high points first, and then I can just kind of go in and out from there. And then hello. So that first hello. So maybe 67. Just the tiniest bit of movement here. Let's get that lip open again. Just so I can see. The jaw. Oh, that doesn't help much. Actually, I'm gonna go. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go on frame 68 instead for the open. So just a little bit. Just some basic movement, but it's not gonna be enough to open his jaw yet. Okay. So 66 to 67. Let's look at my graph editor here and just ease that motion out. Not that far. So he's gonna kind of ease out, pop into that next pose. Hello. And then 070. Let's close the mouth again there. About there. And then hello, Bob. So 75, it'll be closed right there. Or sorry, yeah, 75. Actually, no, wait, 74, because the ba is right there. So this is gonna go a little faster here. So it pops out Bob. Kind of eases in there. Bob. And then it stays open for a while. And then let's see, I had that open there, so it'll need to be closed here. And then let's say open here. Maybe with just a little slight ease in. Something like that. Then here, let's ease out. There we go. Let's see. Okay, so that lip is going to be distracting, so let's just get rid of any animation on that, because that pop is going to be weird. Okay. And actually, I'm going to pose out that lip just a little bit right at the start, because he's going to be kind of like, hello, Bob. Kind of baring his teeth a little bit. I'm kind of just like, ugh, I really don't want to talk to you right now. And let's just bring this down here. Simplify that mouth shape. The lip's too low. And there we go. So we've got... make sure I don't transition over like that. That's going to be weird. So just take that key and there we go. And then make sure I start at frame 60 here. There we go. So pretty much, I think I just have one more key to add in here. That is the initial jaw pass. So Bob. And then I kind of want to have that jaw not lock in place. So it'll just kind of close a little bit more here, but not entirely. And maybe I'm going to have that overshoot just a bit. So let's see, come down and then like that. Let's see. Just push that ever so slightly. I don't like the fact that the mouth is closing right at the end there. It's just, oh, make sure I take the right channel there. It looks weird when the mouth closes right at the end. If you watch people speak, their mouths don't close when they're finished a sentence or finished a word. And you'll notice it with me if you watch my mouth. When I finish speaking, my mouth doesn't shut right away. It only shuts when I'm about to say the next word. So as he's talking here, I can kind of build in a little overlap here with his jaw where it kind of overshoots. Bob. But I want to keep that kind of open on the last syllable that he had said. And let's kind of add a little bit more of a hold right here. Something like that. Okay. So with this, let me end on frame 90 here. So we got 30 frames. And let's just do a quick play blast. See if this is, ooh, not that view. I want to do a quick play blast of this just to make sure that my jaw motion is reading, that it's not poppy. It might not look quite right yet because we're doing a very specialized mouth motion where he's not really like expressing himself with his jaw. He's going to be using his lips more, but we can still get a good feel for this. So one thing I'm not liking right now is it feels like his teeth clatter together. It's like they bounce off each other right at the end there. Hello, Bob. And then right at the beginning too. It's a little too sharp. So I'm just going to soften that up a little bit. So, where was it? Right here. Closes and opens. So I'm just going to come in here. This is where the graph editor comes in really handy. And I'm just going to add in, let's see, one more frame there. And then let's hold this just a little bit more. And then right here, I need to hold longer. So let's kind of push this down a little bit here. Ease that out. I'm actually just going to put another key here so I have full control over this. Something like that. And then let's close this a little bit more. So just making some slight adjustments here to push the spacing. And that's going to be too soft, I think. Let's push this in here. Kind of ease that in. A little bit more like that. So, sorry if I'm not explaining myself here. I'm basically trying to get this mouth to not feel like it hits, but that it's still closing quickly and then opening quickly. So, kind of hits in there and then comes out. Then this is a little too in the center. Let's bring that up. Okay, I think that'll do it. And then I can maybe have it come up and then down. So, get that cleaned up. Perfect. Okay, one more play blast here just to give ourselves an idea. I love Mario music. Listening to any video game music while I'm working is so nice. Great background music. Let me actually double check something here. Okay. So let's hit play here. That's better. It's still feeling a little bouncy right there at the end. I think I'm just opening the jaw too much at the end. So let's just take that and then I'll be good. So let's see. Yeah, that's opening way too much at the end. When I compare it to that first motion, it should be smaller. So we'll take that and just kind of whoop, bring it down. Again, the power of the graph editor. So nice for making these subtle changes here. So now it's just going to be a slight motion, and then I can just kind of hold it a little bit more here. There we go. That'll do for now. So I've got that, and it's not really feeling like much right now because, again, this is a very subtle mouth shape in terms of the jaw motion. But I can push that a lot more with the lips because he's going to be sneering and he's going to, hello, Bob. It's going to be much bigger in the lips. So hello, hello. Even at the beginning, it's going to be a little tighter than hello, 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 Bob. So let's do that here. And unlike last week where I did both at the same time, I'm just going to do one at a time. And we'll just focus on, again, our phonemes here. So we've got 66. This is kind of the breath in. So I'm just going to lower this a little bit so we have some place to go. So he's going to go, hello. So hello. The lips come in on the O. So first it's going to be the he. So it's going to be from 66, I'd say, to 68. Let's set a key on. I'm going to set keys on both of them together, but then I'm going to move one at a time. So this is going to, and like I said, I'm going to try to push this more than I should. The other thing I can do is I can play with the depth attribute, kind of keep his lips feeling like they're pressed against his teeth. The last thing you want is this kind of feeling here, where you've just got that huge gap. Because when we smile, it's muscles here pulling out this way. It's going to pull a little gap between the teeth, but it's coming backwards, so it's wrapping the lip around the teeth as well. So it's a little bit of both. I just don't want it to feel like it's being just pulled straight out. So here, and then this one is going to just kind of come out ever so slightly. Now this is going to be the trickier cheek here, because with this, let me turn on, there we go, 2D pen zoom. Here, as I move this out, you'll notice that as it comes back, if I'm not careful, I'm going to get this kind of fish motion, fish feeling where, let me make sure I'm using the right, like this, where it's cutting through the cheek or the teeth. You can just see it a little bit, but then when I pull out, we get that wrapping feeling a little bit there, but then again you see how it's kind of distorting. So I have to be very careful with this side, especially since we're seeing it right in there, the kind of inside of the cheek. So let's try to get that shape nice. So yeah, hello, hi Bob. So come back and maybe up a little bit. It's like, it's a little bit of a smile, but a very forced and not very genuine smile. Yeah. So again, take this and I'm just gonna pull this back so I get that nice shape in there. The other thing I can do is I can push the corner seal here to start sealing. Oh, make sure you have the right one selected. Sealing that corner of the mouth there, just to get that sharper shape in there. Alternatively, I can use these, which is what I'm going to use this time. I'm going to really shape these lips myself when I get to them. So we've got the first pose there. So, hello. So, hello, 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 oh. So, hello, oh. I'd say probably around 70. Maybe even 71, just to give a little bit of an offset. This is going to be the O pose. So again, we just come in here and the hello. And then as I'm doing it, my lip corner goes down. So hello. And I'm just focusing on the corners of the mouth. That's very important. Try to, if you break things up into different sections, it can really help speed up your workflow, oddly enough, because you're not having to focus on so many things at once. Hello, 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 Bob, hello. Yeah, I'll push this quite a bit in. It might be a little exaggerated here, but it'll give me somewhere to go. But when he goes, Bob, into that, again, fake smile. So, hello. So something like that. So, hello. Now, one thing I'm noticing is I can push the corners up quite a bit more. And let's see. Depth adjusted here. So push this up a little bit. And then push this down on both sides. Let's see. And I have to adjust my first pose there. So this is ba, ba. So hello, Bob. That's like hello, Bob, Bob. Oh, hello, Bob. Ah is open again. So, hello, Bob. Okay, so B is pretty close, so I can just take these here, copy that over, and then let's make that big mouth shape again. Bob. So it goes back up. Maybe not quite as high, because he's losing his joy of this person. I picked a great miserable mouth shape to do on the first for the first lip sync of this stream. I could have picked something happier. Hello, Bob. It comes back out, and this one is going to be the biggest one. So let's just really push this. Not to the point where it's breaking, but at least to be interesting. And then this one, let's see, how far am I pushing it? This one I'll keep a little less, so he's kind of talking out the side of his mouth. Hey, Bob. Oh, not the person I wanted to see. Bob. And then, hey, Bob. So, let's see. They go in, down, and then, hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Yeah, I want it to come. I'm watching the arcs of the corners here. So, it goes back, down, lower, and I can, let's see, these will be back a little bit this way, and then here they'll be in. Trying to push the arcs in the mouth here. Okay. So at the end, he kind of closes his mouth again. So Bob. So the next B81. Let's set a key here. It'll come in, not as much as before, and down, and then this one can be, let's see, down, up, let's see, this starts there, arcs back, down, down, this round, and then, okay. And then I look back. Good. I'm getting a little bit of an arc there. Let's see what we've got here. And you'll notice the expressions do not work right now because I don't have the lips really moving up and down, which is what's going to really sell this. But I'm just trying to get the corners working. Like this expression here, that does not work. Okay. And then let's go here and just bring these out a little bit. And then down. Continue that arc. Let's see, 83. Let's see, so we've got 74. B. Okay, good. And then okay. And then let's go to the last key here. And just pull that down. There we go. So that's not quite working yet because we don't have any holds. Let's see, make sure I've got everything in the right spot. So 76, or 66, sorry, is hello. So hello. I might move this one frame forward and then just hold that. I'm holding that too far. Let's move that back one frame. So, yeah. Hello, Bob. I want to hold that a little longer on the first pose there. And then ease that off less. So this is the quote-unquote fun part about lip sync, is the back and forth, listening to the audio dialogue. Yeah, that's not right. Oh. Let's move that forward just one frame. And I apologize if I'm not talking much right now. It's listening to a lot of the trying to get the inflection and hit it just right. Because with corners of the mouth, they don't hit just at the specific phoneme shape, like the jaw or something like that. There's going to be some transition, especially depending on the sound you're making. Okay. Then Bob. Let's see. Let's push this one here, set a key. Just gonna move that down a little bit and then ease that in like so. And then here. Let's hold a little longer. And even go past. Okay, getting there. It is a kind of tedious and slow process at times, but hopefully it'll look pretty good once we're done with this. So, if you do, I need my translate Y right now. Make sure I'm moving in nice arcs. Yes, this music is some of my favorite Mario music. Such a good game. I wasn't expecting all that much from the game, not because of any specific reasons, but I was expecting it to be a good Mario game, but it became one of my favorites. It was so good. Let's see. This corner needs to come up a little bit more here. And it had great co-op, which I really loved. We can push this arc here a little bit. If saying hello Bob is this complicated, how would you animate something supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? I didn't know how to spell that right. You were pretty close. It was right in the middle that it kind of caught me off guard. It's not so bad once you get into the hang of it, and if you're not listening to things. So typically if I'm doing this, I wouldn't listen to music because I'm listening to the audio, but the stream might be kind of boring if I don't put music on, so I've got that playing. And then as I'm explaining, it's slowing down the process quite a bit. Like as soon as you have to talk about something and do it, it really slows things down. So this might seem like, oh, it's taking forever. But if I was doing this normally, this wouldn't take much time at all. It's actually very quick. You do a quick jaw pass, quick in and out mouth pass, and you're good. And when you can focus 100% of your attention on it, like I said, it doesn't take all that long. And oh, which Mario game is it? That was I'm not gonna remember the name. Super Mario 3D World. Yeah, the end needs much more holes here. Especially on the down there. Okay, so hello, Bob. So on the Bob. So I've got that Bob. I could actually be a little faster here. On the up. Right there. And then make sure I'm not flattening out right there. That'll help. Let's hold there a little longer. The top there. And then Bob. Mouth. Bob comes in. And then I can really just hold it at the end there. Kind of got it a little moving back up here. It kind of feels weird. Bob. Simplify it. This is one of those things that where in shots it can be nice to like add more and more and more, but sometimes simplicity is really all you need. Here's this correct spelling. Yeah, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. And I hate to say it, but I've never seen that show. I've never seen... That's from Mary Poppins, I believe, correct? I've never seen it, which is horrible. I should watch it someday, but I never have the time. Look. There you go, that's better. Now I kind of just have to hold it down a little bit more as well. I really need to, because there's so many like good, or we both need to now, just because there's so many like references that other shows do to those Sound of Music and Mary Poppins and things like that, and I need to watch it someday so I can finally get those. Get the references. Let's see. Make sure my curves don't have odd pops in them. Not that it's super important right now, but I just want to make sure. Okay. Let's see here. That's a little slow right there, that open. Should be Bob. I think I might just need to get rid of this key and bring this back. Yeah. And let's just kind of tweak this a little bit. So that corner starts coming up a little sooner. Right there. And I'll just add one more key here just so I can ease that ever so slightly. I don't want it to hit so hard. Now that's not to say that I don't want it quick. Let's see here. So the B is on 81. I think I just need to hold these longer. And then bring this out there. And then for the translate Y, just not ease that quite so much. Because that kind of quick transition right there is feeling really weird. Should kind of transition in the movement there. There you go. That's feeling better. Now I'm gonna do a quick play blast here. It's gonna look awful because I don't have the lips in there yet. Let's see. You should come over and we can watch it sometimes. Just a short drive to my house. Yeah, just a country away. No worries. So there we go. Now I'm already noticing my movements are a little angular. So if we look at this.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
Let's
Hello,
see.
Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
I'm moving in
Hello,
too
Bob.
much here
Hello, Bob.
for the
Hello, Bob.
hello.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
It's not going to read at
Hello,
all because
Bob.
you'll notice he's
Hello,
saying
Bob.
Bob, but he can't close
Hello,
his lips
Bob.
right now.
Hello, Bob. Hello,
So-
Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello,
Hello,
Bob. Hello, Bob.
hello,
Hello,
Bob.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
Okay. So this is actually one of those things that if ever you're having trouble with this, just for anyone who's new, you can always track your arcs with this. So let's see if it'll work for me. Sometimes this won't play nice, especially when I'm streaming. But if I create an editable motion trail here, there we go. So with this, I get an arc of what's happening with my mouth shape. Now I'm just going to, oh yeah, hopefully Maya won't crash on me. Let me save. So with this, I can actually get an idea of the arc that I'm getting with the mouth. So we start here and we go up, then down here. So this is where like my arcs aren't reading properly. And I want, hello, Bob. So I need to hold, hello, it's on the B. That's when it should be transitioning here. So on the kind of about 75, that's when I should be transitioning over here for the smile. So let's see. And this is one of those things that you might try something at first. It might seem like a good idea, and then like I did here, it didn't really work out. So let's do that again. Hello, Bob. Hello, hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Bob. Okay. So, hello. Okay, so I want the mouth closed there. That's good. And I just want to kind of hold this pose longer. So I'm thinking I could just get rid of these two right there. Delete. And then just take this, and I'm not going to drag it. The main reason being is if I drag this key right now, it's going to be extremely slow because I'm working with an editable motion trail. And if I was to drag it, it would just kill my computer right now. So instead, to retime this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the keys here and type in where I want them to be. So I want them to be on 73 and retime them that way. This will help speed up the retiming process. Hey Ellie, how's it going? Ellie Abdul, I hope you're doing well. So let's see what we got here. Hello, Bob. And I'll be able to push this in a little bit here. Hello, Bob. 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 This can be a little slower here. So let's push this a little bit more. Oh, wait, I forgot. Editable motion trail. I retimed. A-Tool's motion trail is so much faster. I'll have to try and use that someday. I don't think I've ever used that. So let's see. Okay. I don't like how it's just holding right there. So let's push this. And I'm actually going to delete this motion trail because it's slowing things down quite a bit. And I'd rather have the speed and track the arcs by eye. So let's see, make sure I have that selected and just hit delete. Okay. So let's do this again. So hello. So he's kind of sneering. Hello. So it comes, hello, Bob, and it kind of goes like that. Now I want to add arcs in there. So it's going to be back. So I want hello. It's going to arc. Now I don't really have to get all the nitty gritty in here right away, but I can just kind of start putting in a little bit. I'm just going to focus on this side here for now. So for example, here I can just kind of push that let's push that down a little bit. Or actually, I can just add a key here so that I can start arcing this. Whoop. So just arc that up. Hello. And then keep that going. And then let's keep that like so. And then so it'll go back around. So let's just kind of push this up ever so slightly. Comes down. And around. Now I need to push the let's see, I need to put another key here just to push this up a little bit. I'm just tracking the up and down of the mouth now. And then this needs to start coming in. Yeah, so to do this, let me offset something here. And that's too high right there. I'm gonna remove that key because it's just causing more trouble than it's worth. Doop-a-doop-doo, undo, undo, undo. There we go. So, hello. Let's see. As it comes in, this needs to be more forward and up a little bit more. And then let's kind of bob. And get that nice round shape to that corner of the jaw there, or corner of the lips. And then at the end, the Y needs to kind of stay up a little bit here. Just a little longer to arc upwards. And let's see. This needs to keep going back a little bit. I noticed that it kind of felt like it was hitting, like it was hitting the back and then transitioning forward. It feels weird when it's doing that. happening with my arc here. Let's see. I think the thing that might be throwing me off is the fact that he's not saying the B because of the lips being parted. That's kind of making it hard to see exactly what's happening there. Okay, now the other thing that I'm noticing is if I look at just this curve here, it's feeling very even. So like the mouth starts there, then it goes further in, the peaks are very similar. I need to vary this up here and pick a moment to sell. So it's, hello, Bob. So I'm gonna bring this back quite a bit more here. And then just pick that moment to sell a little bit. Okay, and then as it comes in, hello. Okay. That's good. That's better. Let's look at the Y as well. So this is the up and down. Again, I can tone this down so that I'm picking one moment to be more, to be bigger and really kind of sell it, versus just everything being too big. And I can see even in the waveform, my hello is bigger. You can see hello. So I want to sell that one. That's going to be the big moment. Hey Tifo, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. So let's see how that looks. Do I have my other one open? No, I don't. So I'm going to save first because it's always good to save. And we'll just see how this looks. Again, the very first primary pass of the in-out. I find in-out is typically harder than the jaw pass, just because there's a lot more more things going into it. But let's see.
Hello, Bob.
That's better.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
So you can see how before, like for those of you who saw this before, that first pass it was just like it was too much. It was linear looking. It was just like it wasn't interesting. It was ugh, horrible. So I went in and I just adjusted two things. First, I made sure that my timing was right because I was actually mistiming when the corner was going in and out. So that was a big one. The next thing I did was I pushed those arcs so that when the mouth goes back and forward, it's not just going straight back and down and back and forth, but it's also not going in like V shapes or like coming up at an angle and then just kind of bouncing off in a weird way. It's all moving in arcs as much as I can. Now I'm going to refine this as I go, but if I can get that feeling now already, it's going to make it easier later on. And then the other thing I did was I just made sure that my peaks weren't all matching, so that some parts would sell more than others. So for example, the hello is bigger than the Bob. I don't want both of them to kind of compete for the audience's attention. So we've got that. There we go. And I'm just kind of looking, making sure nothing's standing out. Good. So now I can do a lip pass. So the lip pass, this is where it's going to really start selling what he's saying here. Because especially with the Bob, with the B shapes, those, if we don't get the lips in there, it's just never going to read properly. So I'm going to do those first. just because they're going to be very important. So 74 and 81. So, hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. My lips go down. So, I'm going to bring this lip down. I'm going to bring that one up a little bit. Now, I'm not going to get a perfect seal here because I have to shape the lips. Hello, Bob. I might bring these up actually just a little bit. Just to kind of get that frown in there. So this is going to be 74. I need to have the mouth closed before the B sound because the B is actually the exhale of breath. So this is going to be closed here. I also need to make sure that the lips are closed one frame before as well, just to really sell. If you do it just for one frame, it can look poppy. So if you have the B's or B's, P's, and M's hold for 2 frames, it tends to make it feel a little nicer. So let's see. My eye is itchy for some reason. My cat was sleeping on my face earlier, so that's probably doing it. So on this pose, the lips are going to be higher. And then they're going to push down because it's Bob, it goes downwards a little bit. So kind of this way. And then Bob. Now I'm going to do the same thing up ahead. Just get those closed shapes in there. So 81, 80. So let's see. I might actually go, let's see, 81, 82, because we're not hearing the B at the end there. So I can kind of push it so we can get more of the ah sound. So let's see. Lips here, gonna be high again at first, and I'm not gonna get the lips perfect just yet. This is just kind of pushing the shapes. So ba, b. Now it's coming down. So we get that, and then let's do before and after. So on the so ba, the bottom lip goes down. Oh, I'm glad that the tips are helping you. Lip sync is tough, and it's one of those things that it just takes practice, and you can even see here, like I've got quite a bit of experience with lip sync. I did that first like corner pass and it didn't work. Sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes like you'll try to mimic it out and watch what you're doing, and when you actually put it on the rig, it won't work. So you just have to adjust a little bit, and then suddenly it's simple in the sense of, oh yeah, it's working. But really all it comes down to is taking what you have and usually simplifying it and picking a moment to hit. So picking a moment to really sell and making sure that's the biggest thing, and that they're not all just even or all like, for example, even the jaw. I want to make sure I wouldn't want the jaw to just be open and close at the same degree. There's going to be one point, for example, here where he says Bob. That's when his jaw opens up the most. And it goes the same with the corners, the mouth, like the lips, everything. Pick a moment to really shine, and then everything else builds up to that. So, ba. The lip here, Bob, can come up a little bit more, but the bottom lip is the one that's really gonna kind of come down and pop open. Now I'm just doing basic lips. I wanted to get the b, like the pucker in there as well, but right now I'm just doing basic up and down pass on the lips just to kind of make sure things are reading. So again, b, but this one it's not going to be as important to get that big mouth shape because this, he's barely saying the b. Ba, b. Now, right now it kind of looks weird because he's got that like side of the lip that's hanging down. I'm gonna reshape that in just a second here. So, he starts off. Let's kind of narrow this lip down just a little bit, give ourselves somewhere to go. So it's gonna be hello, hello. So, let's see. So by 68, hello. The bottom lip's gonna come down a little bit. Top lip is gonna come up. Hello. And then maybe a little faster on that bottom lip. So he's gonna be like that. Hello. Hello, Bob. And then here they can still stay open a little bit before coming in for the close there. Let's see, let's raise this up. And not too high. Hello, Bob. And already you can see how we're reading that B now, even though the lips aren't even proper yet. So let's just make sure I have the pose copied over there. So hello, Bob. And then let's see, Bob. And then on Bob again, lips go up and we get that so let's see, that kind of toothy look to it. So Bob. And now the top lip, that's when it's going to come up. Bob. Even if he's going down as Bob, Bob, the top teeth are like kind of being bared. So Bob. And I can push that a little bit more. I want to create this offset. So you can see here, the bottom lip comes out first more, and then the top lip kind of catches up. That way I don't have just this generic kind of pop open. Bob. And then Bob. It'll hold right up until, let's just take these here, copy this over to there, and Bob. So it'll kind of increase a little bit in the top lip there, and Bob. The bottom lip maybe not quite as much, just a little bit, and then let's see, set a key here. Maybe actually the bottom lip, I'm gonna have it down a little bit. Yeah, that feels better. And then here, let's take that bottom lip, ease out, and then same with the top lip, ease out of that motion. So now we get that. And actually the top lip will lead a little bit more. No, that looks wrong. I went too far. Let's zoom in on the graph editor here. So it'll come down. And then actually I could probably push that down like that. See, I don't like how both lips, you can see how they're kind of both coming in right here on this frame. They're both coming in at the same time. I don't like that. So let's take the bottom lip and let's look at its curve. What's happening here? Gonna ease it in this way. So now one is kind of leading the action. And I'm not going to go that far because I'm hiding the teeth too much. That's better. And then here it's going to look weird until I shape that top lip. I can probably just open it up ever so slightly. Is this top lip there? That's better. So Bob. And then Bob. Then it holds. And it'll just keep opening. Make a nice moving hold. Actually, for the bottom, maybe it'll come back in ever so slightly. So it just kind of overshoots and comes in. Again, add variation. Okay, so we've got that. Let's see if it actually works. So again, just do a quick play blast. So you can see the lips, that one much easier because typically with lips they'll just hold up or down and we hit those like B's and P's and M's and that'll get us a quick pass.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
Okay, that's working pretty well.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
One thing I'm not liking is how the top lip right there, it feels like it's moving in an arc. Like if I watch right that point right there, it kind of feels like a bouncing ball. It feels like it closes on B, goes up and then down on Bob instead of Bob. Like it doesn't snap Bob. So I want to push that snap there a little bit. And just kind of avoid those kind of peaks to that top lip there. So if we watch our translate Y, we could probably see exactly what I was talking about there. So comes up. I can ease that out just a little bit more. Try to push that. Okay, we've got a little bit of it down, and then I'm just going to ease that out. So let's see, this is going to be down there, just a little lower here. And then Bob. So this is gonna hit a little harder. So you can see how I'm kind of getting this arc right there. Oddly enough, I want less of an arc. With lip sync and often with things like that, having too much of an arc will feel weird. Our lips and our eyes tend to hit and hold poses. They don't transition slowly through one pose to the next. And this is one of those things where if you watch a lot of new animators and you watch their lip sync, it's what gives them that kind of like floaty lip sync. So where they're talking and it's just slowly moving all the time. And I can't even kind of replicate it on screen here because our lips don't move like that. When I talk, it's just like pow, in, out. Your lips hit shapes very, very quickly. So I want to kind of replicate that here and try to avoid having shapes that just slowly transition. Like this one here, let's see what's happening. Kind of want to push this a little bit more. Be a little bit less linear. So let's kind of push this here and then push this arc. And then as it comes up, let's kind of remove that arc there, just so it kind of stays a little bit flatter there. And then something more like this. Then big explosive out, comes down, stays flat, comes in, make sure my lips, okay, that's leading. I don't like the way it's so flat. If you watch the shape of the lip, it's kind of flat on top. I want to make sure I get at least a little bit of teeth in there. And then there we go. So let's just do another quick play blast of this. And at this point, we've done similar to what we've done last stream, where I just did the jaw, corner, lip pass. At this point, now we go into shaping, if all of this looks
Hello,
good here.
Bob.
Yeah,
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
that's
Bob.
better.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello,
Yeah,
Bob.
much nicer.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
So at
Hello,
this
Bob.
point,
Hello,
it's
Bob.
time to add in a lot
Hello,
of the like
Hello,
nice
Bob.
poses and
Hello,
whatnot.
Bob. Hello, Bob.
And to do this, we're gonna be tweaking some of the things we've already done, but we have that kind of core to fall back on, which makes things much easier in the long run. So the first thing I can do is I can start varying up this pose and this the lip shapes and all that a little bit more. And another thing I can do, and this is something people tend to forget, is I can push the angle of the teeth. I don't want to animate the teeth visibly so that the teeth are actually shifting around in the mouth. That would look very strange. But for example, you can see how I've angled the teeth there. Now when he talks, there's this kind of like angle to his face. We get that line right there compared to if it was perfectly straight, which is boring. When everything's just perfectly straight, it tends to be very bland. So I can just kind of push this a little bit. Not much, but enough to make it a little bit more interesting and get a better silhouette. Another thing with teeth that you can do is you'll notice sometimes you get this kind of shape around the mouth there where you see the back teeth. If you want to either remove or add that in, you can just rotate the teeth. For example, here I'm going to push it a little bit more, but like that. Now I can see the back teeth there. That's too far for this pose, but it gives me a little bit more variety compared to just leaving things at their default. Okay, so hello. I'm gonna push the pose here first. Let's push the sneer. So I'm gonna use all these micro controls to really push this shape here. So let's kind of get this nice curve to the mouth here, and then on this side we're gonna just kind of tighten it up and close it, pinch it together. And this is where you start really getting into nice poses, is when you start shaping lips like this and getting like that corner pinch or nice arcs through there. This one I'm going to keep nice and simple. So maybe I'll tone that down just at the start here so we have some place to go. Again, keep in mind where you want to go with a pose. So, like so. Okay. We've got that. So I'm just going to select all these controls here. And this is kind of the tedious part, is if I want to copy this pose onto the next one, I've got to select all of these. So boop-a-doop-a-doo. Oop, make sure I don't translate them all together. But select all of those and then just copy there. And there's my cat. Hey! Finally made it. Hello. Where are you? Okay, so make sure nothing's moving here. Good. Is this Kingdom Hearts? I think it's still Mario. I'm not sure what song this is from though. Or what song? What game this is from. It sounds a little like 3D Mario World or Mario 3D World, but I'm not sure. It does sound very Kingdom Heartsy. Oddly enough, though, it almost sounds like Traverse Town or something like that, or the Gummy Ship for some reason. Makes me think of the Gummy Ship. Okay, so I want to hit some nice poses in here. So, hello. He goes, hello, hello, sneer. So I really want to sell this sneer here. And part of that is going to be getting that upper lip right, showing a little bit of the gums. Not too much, but enough to kind of get that disgust reading through. Now I don't want him to look like he has a beak, so I'm going to just kind of curl this in. Hello, because he's kind of opening his lips for the hey sound. So just kind of bring that in, maybe like that. And then hello, the bottom lip kind of curls out. And if you don't want to use all these like micro controls, you can use these ones here. They kind of shape the lip more broadly. Just be careful of using some, like the micro for one pose and then the main ones for another pose. Because if you start using all of them all at once, you're going to run into a situation of tons of counter animation. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to try to keep it very simple and only use these red controls here. And only use the larger ones for big changes if I need it. So let's see. Let's kind of bring this in here a little bit. Yeah. The other thing you'll notice I'm doing, and this is one of those things that can really add to pose, is I'm trying to keep one lip a little bit more detailed than the other. So you can see how the top lip has this kind of S shape to it, whereas the bottom lip is just kind of this very simple curve. And that I'm doing that intentionally to keep the one a little bit more complex than the other. Very rarely do you want to have two complex shapes. So what I mean by that is like the number 2. So for example, if I lifted this lip here and now I've got an S on top and then an S on the bottom, it's just visually too much. So if I keep it simpler here, and actually just before I forget, I'm going to select all these again to set a key. But this time, to make things a little faster for myself whenever I have to reselect these, I'm going to make a quick select set. So if ever you need to quickly select all of these all the time, you can just go to create sets, quick select set, and I'm just going to call this lips, and I'm just going to add it to my shelf right there. So now if I need to quickly select them, done, and set a key. No more having to do that every single time I need to set a key. So I'm actually going to go forward here and go to the B, just because I know that's going to be a very crucial sound and lips shape to get. So hello B 73, let's set a key, and I'm going to just reset them all here. So hello Bob, I want that to get that like I don't like you just kind of frown in there. So I can just kind of take these up here, and again I could use this one down here to kind of get that global shape in there, but I'm gonna try to avoid using it so that I don't have counter animation. I want to see if I can get most of it with these shapes here. So it's gonna be this kind of like Bob. So let's bring this down. Let's bring this one down. Really push that mouth corner. Bring this up. Bring this up. And you can see it's kind of tedious in the sense of you're doing one control at a time, but it really doesn't take all that long. And I'm just trying to focus on getting a nice clean curve here. Bring this down. So the other thing I want is the lips have to be rolled in. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to use the roll control here. Let's see if it'll work for me. So I'm going to just roll that lip in, and then the Bob. Okay, so roll that in as well. So something like that. And alternatively, if you don't want to use the roll control, you can always just kind of select these and push them in and out. So you could do that. I'm just going to use the roll just to kind of keep things simpler, since we're already, what are we at? 2 hours in. Jeez. It's going a little slower than I expected, but hopefully it's still helpful. Let's see. I'm not liking how it's rolling. Let's see. I think I'm just going to rotate the lip instead. Yeah, that's feeling better already. So push that up. So now you can see how his lips are thinner than over here. So hello, Bob. And then I'm just getting some very basic shapes in there. I probably rolled those in too much, actually. I don't want him to lose his lips entirely. And then go forward one frame. Oops. Let's see. So forward one frame. There you go. Make sure my keyboard's not in French. That helps. And then on this one, I'm going to kind of roll the lips in just a little bit, and it's going to be a little bit more pushed down. It's tedious, but it's also what's the right word I'm looking for? Therapeutic in a way. So when I start getting into oh, and do you have to do a new look based on head position? Yeah. So I'm animating this to camera here. If I was to suddenly change my camera here, most of the poses I've done won't work anymore. So this is very important. You always want to look at your shot camera and animate to that camera. Make sure that you're getting really nice, clean shapes. That's going to be very important. But in terms of being tedious, one thing I do find, like, it does look tedious. And when you first kind of start learning this this all these little details here, it can seem like I'll never finish a shot, but it honestly doesn't take all that long. So for example, I've done this here, hello Bob. It's been about 2 hours so far, but that's 2 hours of me explaining things as well, which for anyone who knows me, I take forever to explain anything. So if I was doing this on my own without being like on a stream, I could have probably done this in like half an hour. So it really doesn't take all that long. It is tedious of all these little controls, but it's not that bad. And what I like to do is, in moments like these, I'll just put like a good soundtrack like what I have now, or my favorite TV show that I've seen 100 times, and I'll just play that in the background as I'm doing this minute detail. Now typically with lip sync, I'll more often than not listen to music, simply because if I listen to a TV show, there's talking in it, and with the music, like I typically listen to video game music, so there's no lyrics. I can finish any shot too. Making it look good is the trick. Yeah, that's always the tricky part. So he's gonna go Bob. So that bottom lip needs to kind of reshape itself. So I'm just gonna take all this, set a key first, and then just zero it all out, so I can get back to that kind of default shape there. And then just open this up a little bit. Now another thing I can do, and I haven't really covered this, but I should be kind of showing this at the same time, is right now I just have a very simple jaw motion, just straight up and down. I can push this as well. So as I'm shaping the mouth, I can push the jaw. So instead of hello Bob, it's just straight, this could be Bob. So it's got this like round arc to it. So let me finish this mouth pose here, and then I can add a pass on that. So oh, Bob. Let's push that sneer a little bit more. Not too high there. Maybe a little higher here. And just get that nice, smooth shape there without getting that beak that we were getting earlier. So nice and round. And pinch the corner here. Just to kind of give that more natural lip shape. So Bob. The bottom lip is just going to be round. And this is one of those areas where you'll notice that I'm trying to get this lip shape and I'm getting like the gums back there. Ugh. If I need to, I can just kind of take the lip and adjust the position. Or I could even take the teeth if I needed to. Oh, Bob. Now, one thing I'm not liking is how wide the mouth is here. But we'll see how that works with the transition. But let's see. So, hello. Hello. So, hello, Bob. And same as before, if I'm working on these lips, I don't want long, slow transitions. I want really quick transitions. So that makes things a lot easier when you're not having to animate every single frame completely. Oh, Kung Pao Chicken, take care! Oh, I'm glad you'll be back on Sunday. Sunday should be interesting. For if you haven't been in previous streams, it's a drawing stream. So I'm learning how to draw. I'm a 3D animator and I have no clue how to draw. So on Sunday is kind of sharing my progress as I learn how to draw and kind of giving tips and whatnot on if you want to learn how to draw, things I've kind of encountered and like stumbling blocks, things like that. So I look forward to seeing you there. Let's see. What was I doing here? Okay, yeah, so you can see I don't really have to animate every single frame. So, now, one thing I'm not liking is this flip in the lip here. I'm gonna try to tweak that. It's just too much. I'm gonna try to keep that sneer in there instead. So I don't get that pop in there. So it's gonna be more of a kind of shape like this. And I could keep that like... let's actually move this down here. Bob. And then here as well, I'm going to try to keep that sneer. If I'm making the mouth poses change too much, what I'm going to run into is a situation where the mouth is just going to wiggle all over the place. So I want to keep this kind of general shape of the mouth, where I'm kind of just keeping this, I guess, silhouette, you could say, of the mouth, and not losing it completely. So, Bob. That's feeling better. Hello, Bob. That's much better. Now here, when he goes Bob, I want those lips to roll outwards. So I'm going to take these and just... I could roll them in a little bit more here. And then as they come out, I'm going to roll them out and make sure I'm in object mode. Okay. So this one is going to roll out. Actually, let's see. Can I use the pump control here? No. Let's try roll. That's better. So you can see how with this control I'm getting that kind of separation from the gum. I want that a little bit, so. Not much, but enough. Again, I don't want to see that bottom gum all the time. Bob. So, Bob. And then as it comes out, it should pretty much go right back in pretty quick. Just that kind of p sound. Bob. And actually, let's look at this here. Pump. No, roll. Roll. And I'm just going to offset it one frame. And then... yeah, let's... actually, maybe 2 frames. And then I'm just going to ease it out. Like that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna fix this shape here. Now, again, you'll notice how I'm getting all this gum right there. I do not like that. So, just to show you another way I can fix this, is I could just take these bottom teeth and lower them. Just like that. And that kind of fixes the silhouette that I was having before, the silhouette issue of too much gum. Now, that's not how our bodies work. Instead, what I should do is just bring this lip up. But there are situations where maybe you got that mouth silhouette to be just right. That is the exact mouth silhouette you want on that frame. Well, you can move the teeth. Just be careful that the audience doesn't see you move the teeth. That's the big thing. So I'm going to... so Bob... actually, I can probably shape the lips here. So... I'm going to keep that bottom lip a little tighter. Instead of having it arc downwards, I'm going to kind of flatten it out. Just like that. bob, and it's going to bob. So it's going to be more, top lip is going to shape and sneer a little bit. A little bit more like this. Bob. No, not too much yet. Again, I want to look at those arcs of the lips. Make sure they're not popping or feeling like they bounce off anything. Okay. And I think I'm just going to take that lip and just raise it ever so slightly, because I'm going to have so much trouble if I don't. Okay, let's see. Is my graph editor going to play with me? Why is it not auto-updating? There it is, just very slightly. Okay, let's kind of bring this up right about there. Now it's just not going as far. Okay. Now, I'm going to continue with all the minor lips stuff in just a bit, but I just want to do a pass on the jaw just to show the that it's not just up and down. You can add a lot more, and it really adds a lot to the mouth. So right now there's just rotate X, so the straight up and down, but I can push this. So for example, when he says Bob, I could have it go Bob, and not to be like super dramatic and like really angle it out like so, but even just a little bit. So for example, and then by the time he closes it, it's angled this way. Now we've got that Bob. Now let's see, make sure it's not affecting my other rotation here. So Bob. And do I have any animation on my teeth? It kind of looks like I do for some reason. Always double check that you don't have any animation on the teeth. Good, I don't. Okay, so we can add that. So hello Bob, and then Bob. Even I could add in hello. Let's rotate that jaw here. Push it back up a little bit. Hello, Bob. And then make sure I didn't put an extra key in there. Hee. That's not going to help. Bob. And again, nice quick transitions if you can. Bob. Now it's looking a little weird because there's kind of a wiggle in his jaw right there. I'm just gonna make sure I don't have any other curves on here. Yeah, right there. I'm getting some rotate Y. Just zero that out. And then my rotate X is good, so you can add rotation like that, or you can even add translation. So actually shift the jaw side to side. So for example, if I want to add rotation, maybe it's not going to work quite right for this scene. I can always translate it. So for example, I could push that jaw over a little bit, add that rotation just slightly, and then as he comes down, let's say by the time he gets over to the other side there. It's over and like so. And let's just kind of clean this up here. So now we got that. I'm probably going to just minimize this point. Let's see. Oops. Times equals 0.2. There you go. Make it nice and small. And then maybe reduce the translation as well. So now we get that like round motion, bob. Now it's a little even and boring right now, so if I was doing this, I would want to kind of again push that to be a little bit more interesting, have a little bit more of a hold in there. Okay, we're getting there. I just need to make sure I'm not getting any other rotations in there. I'm getting something right in here. Ah, that'll do it. And there. Always watch out for those little rotations that can wiggle their way in. So I'm going to try to keep the translation very simple here. So at the beginning, I might just kind of, let's see. He starts here. Let's just kind of arc it that way. And let's see, maybe hello. Let's see, a little rotation that way, and so let's see, down. Ooh, I don't like that already. Comes over. So we get this nice simple curve here. Hold there. Let's see what we get. Let's see. Hello, Bob. One thing I'm not liking is how it's kind of, it feels like it's just going back and forth. It's rocking. That's gonna look really weird. So how do I want to do this? One thing I can do is I can minimize the amount his jaw moves at the beginning. I'm just going to adjust his starting pose, just like so. So by adjusting how much his jaw moves at the beginning, so that it's just this kind of slight motion, it's going to, again, allow us to sell the moment we actually want to sell, instead of having just two big motions. Now I can do the same thing here. So just have his jaw start about there. After this stream, I feel like I will have dreams about meeting Bob. Yes, it's the joy of doing lip sync, is you get to know an audiophile very, very well, and you'll never hear it ever the same way ever again. It'll just be ingrained in your brain. Okay. I like that more, but I'm not liking how far his jaw rotates here. And how slowly it does it too. Right there. I kind of want this to go faster. So I think I'm just going to set a key right there. And just kind of have it oops, go quicker here. And then hold. Again, I know I keep repeating the same thing over and over, but it's very important when you're doing lip sync and things like that. Try to avoid slow, easing motions like here. This is just one slow, straight ease right there. I want to push this so that it holds and then transitions quickly into the next hold. Now, for this one, this bob, I can kind of push this slowness there a little bit more because it's exaggerated. But I want to be careful with those. So let's go through again, and I'll just finish this lip pass as quickly as I can here. So it's not going to be perfect, but at this point, the stream's been going on for quite a while, so I need to let you guys go, and I need to get back to my work as well. So I'm going to lower that just a little bit here. Hello. Okay, this needs to be reshaped just a little bit because I rotated the jaw. When you're rotating the jaw, it's always good to do it before you get into any super in-depth details like what I'm doing with the lips here. But it is also kind of a back and forth as well. You might be doing something with the lips and then you go, maybe I'll try this out. And it just kind of changes things here and there. Now, one thing I do want to do is transition this lip a little sooner. So I'm going to set a key here and then have it just move up a little bit more there. I'm noticing a pop in the lip right there. So I kind of want to address that. So now it transitions and boop. That's better. Now here, I need to keep the lip tighter because this is the mouth closed for the B. When the mouth is closed, it's going to, for like a B sound, it's going to transition slowly for it. And I also want to make sure that my roll is not affecting anything that I don't want it to. Okay. Comes in, starts to roll there. That's actually not too bad. And then bob. Okay, so let's try to do this quickly. Just need to reshape this lip here. Right there. Bob. Okay. Now this lip is popping up a little too much. So you can see how it's kind of a back and forth. It's not just one shape and then done. Because I'm adjusting the lips, it's going to change things later on. Now, when he goes bob, you can really hold that pose until '81 basically, or 82. So I can just kind of copy this over 80. Okay, what's going on here? I've got the lips selected. Let's look at my curves here. 75 to 80. They are the same. So what's changing? I'm getting lip shapes here. Up there. Are these animated? No. And this is just transitioning. Why is the mouth changing so much there? Oh well. One nice thing that I like, or one thing I like to do is, if you notice like that mouth is transitioning oddly, all I need to do is go to the lips here. I know this is a closed mouth, so I'm just gonna pose that out. So just very quickly. Oh wait, is it? No, there's no other controls here. Adjusting themselves. Okay. So this is gonna have to come out ever so slightly. Let me just double check one last thing before I get too far. So this is going to be the translate. That is the... Okay. Let's maybe adjust the depth here. And find the depth. So I'm just adjusting the depth so that I don't get that cut in, which is happening because I adjusted the jaw. Okay. So let's just finish the last area and then I can just make a hold in that other area. So simplify this mouth design. And I can probably get a good chunk of that done just by adjusting this depth here. Let's see what I can get. Yeah, a little bit. I'm gonna simplify this right here. Okay. So with that, let's just get this done. So take this, bring it out, take this, bring it out, and I'm just shaping the lips again, same as before, trying to make an appealing shape, as appealing as I can. Bob. So, and then let's just take lips here, make sure I set a key on everything. Set a key on everything. Here it's going to be more tight-lipped. Okay, and let's whoop, whoop. Let's go through this a little bit more. Kind of push this in. Oop, wrong control. Push that in just a little bit. Get that kind of pucker in there as he's about to expel the air. So, and then Bob. So from here, set a key, and then this probably is the last key for the lips here in terms of the timeline. Then I have to just go back and adjust that one area in the middle. And I'm gonna bring these lips up just a little bit here and tighten that corner. This Bob. At the end, he's basically not hiding the sneer anymore. Or he wasn't really hiding it much before, but at this point it's just not even a half smile. So something like that, and then pinch that corner. And let's just kind of bring that middle part up there. So There. So the big thing I'm running into is I'm getting some weird distortion right here, even though I've got a hold in his lips right there. What is going on? What is this control? Okay. Bob. What is going on here? I guess it's just the mouth corner kind of coming out. I think it's just a mixture of a lot of things. So if I just kind of come in here, I'm going to go to this frame first. So, Bob. And let me actually look at this mouth corner and look at my curves here. So make sure I've got the right one selected. So translate Y, Bob, and then translate X. This is where I feel I'm running into the issue. Yeah, it's bouncing. I think let's break this, push this back. And more out. Just a little bit. Is it just going too far, maybe? This is it's kind of fun and annoying, the exploration of trying to figure out what is causing an issue. Just bring that in a little bit. Bob. Yeah, it's... Bob. Let's see. Yeah, I'll try moving this forward. Back one frame. And then here, let's kind of tweak this as well. Set a key on it. And just adjust this transition here. So it comes down, and then let's clean this arc up here. So if that's the base of the arc there, I'm going to transition in there, and hit, come out, and it needs to come out sooner. I think that's my problem. I'm coming out too late so that the ah sound is not happening in the right spot. So if I go like this, let's see how that... Bob. So it comes down quick here, that's fine. Oops, no spacebar. And then start to come up. Okay. And then the corner of the mouth. I need to push just a little bit more. So I think take these and push them this way. Okay. That's better. Now, just need to go in and get this mouth shape better because I do not like it. This is going to be too high there. And just kind of add to that sneer. Okay. Fun of lip sync. Let's see. So, one thing I kind of want to do is push this corner just a little bit more closed in. And keep that bottom lip nice and simple. That's already feeling better. Bob. Now again, it's transitioning oddly at the end there, but I think all I need to do is copy this pose to this pose, and then fix that transition there. Because the lips are kind of disappearing for a second, it seems. Right there. So to solve this, I think I'm just going to delete this key. Yeah, that's better. And then there's a little bit of a wiggle right in there. What's causing that? There's a pop in here. Let's see. It's the lips, I think. At this point, it's just like nitpickiness more than anything. Let's get those lips in there, and we're gonna delete this key. That. And then, is there some puff or something coming on here? There's just something coming into the lips here that is affecting their shape somehow. Right there, it's like it's shrinking in. Is it just this? Translate X, maybe that's it. And let's see, depth is okay. This has no animation on it. Doopy doopy doo, where is this pop coming from? Is it this lip? Make sure there's nothing in the jaw possibly causing this. Nope. Those random pops, they're always a joy to try and find out. Okay, so up. Let's see. I'm so close to done. I've just got like 2 poses to do. It's just this one, which I just need to kind of push closed a little bit and figure out why the lip here is inflating the way it is, which is just weird. Because there's this pop right there. I think there's a lip roll, a pump. This is interesting. There's no attributes on these. And let's kind of transition these lips a little better. Doobie-doo. So right now I'm just going one into the other. I'm just gonna ease that in a little bit more. Bob. So I think I'll be good as long as I can just get this line of the mouth a little cleaner so it doesn't wiggle. So kind of get that in there. So Bob. And let's push the lips up here. Which way are they going? Down. I'm trying to create a nice flow to the lips here so that they kind of feel like they're going up. That's better. I just have to kind of clean up this wiggle here. So by wiggle, if you watch the mouth shape, it's just kind of, well, wiggling. So I want to kind of keep that upper lip kind of similar to what it was here a little bit, then flow into the next shape. That's gonna kind of happen. So this is gonna come down a little bit. This is gonna come down. And let's see, this is gonna ease up a little bit here. So, and might actually ease this shape here a little bit. And then here as well. That's better. All of a sudden that feels better. Okay. Whew. All that. Let's actually see how it looks. So we're going to see how all of these elements come together. Now, one thing that's going to look weird is we can see the back of the teeth. That's something we usually wouldn't see because of shadows. But
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
you can see how now we're getting that fleshiness in the lips.
Hello, Bob.
We've got the jaw motion is adding just a little bit. I could probably tone it down quite a bit actually.
Hello, Bob.
And we're getting a little bit more personality after this. Now, one thing I'm noticing, and this is kind of coming into the teeth that I talked about before. Look at that bottom teeth. They are perfectly horizontal. And then when we see the back teeth, they're just kind of boring. I don't know, there's just no angle to it. I'm going to go to a frame where I can see his mouth open here. I'm just going to select those teeth. And let's see, get a good view in here, and there you go. There they are. And I'm just going to delete the animation on them, first of all. So, delete the key. Well, actually, I'll just take this. And I'm just going to angle them a little bit. So, try to get a little bit more of an angle in there, and then angle them front to back. So I get a little bit more of a nice perspective, I guess you could say, on those back molars there. So that they're not just boring and straight. Now I can just take this, key it, so we don't see the teeth moving. And let's actually push it the other way because we're getting that gap in the teeth. Let's kind of push it this way. And if this doesn't work, so let's say the beginning, that works pretty well. But then here, now we've kind of made it worse. This is where you can actually cheat the teeth. So I can set a key here, frame 74. And then on this frame, I'm just going to rotate them to fit this next mouth shape. So now you're never going to see that transition, except like right now you can see this is what you don't want. Don't make it look like the teeth are moving. So I can just take these keys here and go copy them over. And then again, when he closes his mouth, change it afterwards to get a better shape with his jaw. And now here we're getting a little bit of a pop visually, so I'm going to just reduce the amount of rotation I've got here. Let's see, it'll probably be the rotate Z. Just reduce that a little bit, and then reduce it here as well. I can push it a little bit, but as soon as you feel the teeth moving, that's when you've lost it. And this might be a little too much, but we'll see. I'd rather push it too far than too little. And these I can actually rotate this way. And then just move it up. Right here. Just to close that mouth. And there we go. So with that, let's just do a play blast, and I think we'll be able to call it pretty much done. Now, I didn't animate the tongue. That is still something I need to do. Even if you don't really see his tongue for most of it, I need to make sure that's better. So I do feel a pop in the teeth here, so I'm just going to adjust that ever so slightly. Yeah. basically if I watch that canine right there, it's kind of popping into place. And let's see, how can I adjust that? Let's see, what do I want to do? Let's take those teeth. Oh, too far. Teeth and angle them. Oops, make sure I'm on the right frame there. Don't need that key either. Just getting rid of any of the extra keys here so I don't need to copy so many over. There you go. Let's see. So his teeth come in here, and I wonder if I can just move them up right here through this segment. It doesn't help that they were transitioning slowly, so. Yep. Let's just copy this value here. Okay. So if teeth, I don't want to really raise them up too much here. Actually, that's already too high. I think I just need to adjust the jaw. So what's happening is the jaw feels a little too open here before the close. So I think if I just start closing the jaw a little bit more, a little earlier. Nah, I prefer what it was before. So we'll just we'll leave it alone for now. And I'm just gonna add some simple tongue animation. This is gonna be the last thing, and then we can call it done. And that took a lot longer than I thought I would. I was hoping to get through two things like this, but that's the thing with animation. Sometimes it takes way longer. And it also, keep in mind, so for anyone who's looking at this and going, ugh, it takes forever, it's so tedious. Like I mentioned before, it's tedious and slow, mostly because I'm explaining myself as I'm going. If you're doing this on your own, it'll be much quicker. You're not going to be doing all the little tiny, well, it's just going to be faster. So as you're working on your own, you're just going to be much faster than when you're having to talk about something. So don't feel like it's going to be like, oh, what a drag to do all of this. So let's see, I'm going to have the tongue bob. I'm just going to kind of angle it up here, just kind of give a curl to it. And not too much yet. Like that, and then I don't even have to animate the tip of the tongue. But I'm gonna go from there. And will my tongue selector? Yeah, it works. Well, you just need to go from there to there. And on this frame, I'm gonna rotate this up even more, that down even more, and this kind of down. Oop, not the whole mouth. This down. So now, as I transition there, there's just a little bit of tongue motion in there. And we're not even going to really see it, but we'll feel it. Okay. So with that, we've got the lip sync.
Hello, Bob. Hello, Bob.
And that's pretty much all polished up and ready to go.
Hello, Bob.
So again, this was about 3 hours. But keep in mind, when you're doing your lip sync assignments, typically you're going to do 1 week where you just do one pass, another week where you do another pass. You're not expected to do all this in one single pass. So this was like, if you're doing a school assignment, this is 3 or 4 weeks worth of passes in one go. So again, when you're dealing with a 600 frame shot with dialogue, I'm just doing 30 frames here. It's much faster. You don't have to worry about doing all these little details. But we've got the lip sync. And you can see how with this, by adding in all that extra detail, we bring this lip sync to another level compared to what we had before. So let me save here, and we'll just do one final look at all the different versions we've got so far in here. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slow it down to half speed. So let this play blast. It's going to be play blasting 90 frames. But I hope that was helpful. And if anyone has questions on this, definitely feel free to message me on the Discord channel or in the AM group if you're in there. And like I said, I hope this was helpful to people. Hopefully it's going to give them ideas of how to kind of approach lip sync. And this isn't to say this is the only way. There's all sorts of different ways you can do this. But as long as you take it one step at a time, it really won't be a huge hurdle. So with that, let's take one final look at this. So we have these 2 lines of dialogue, and you can see, let's go half speed. The different variations here. So we have the first variation here with just the, again, phoneme shapes. And we can see again how poppy that is. It's just moving too much. And there's no cohesion in the movement. The corner of the mouth doesn't flow. We're getting nice mouth shapes, but that doesn't matter if nothing else is flowing together. Now again, when you're using phoneme library, you can always use these and then adjust your curves afterwards. You just have to make sure you do adjust them. Now, when we did the next pass here, we just focused on separate passes, but we kept it simple. We didn't add the lip shapes or anything like that. And with that, with this here, it adds life to the dialogue, and we can read it. It's much simpler, and we're starting to build in those arcs. Now, when we get to the next pass here, now we've started adding the lip shapes and also some extra motion in the jaw. And we can keep layering things like that in. We've got the tongue motion in there, even though it's very slight. But it adds a whole different element when we've got all these different like lip shapes and having the lips push against each other and then pop out. Now I could add more to the cheeks. I could add animation to the nose. I could add animation to these a higher cheekbone area here versus the like puff in the cheeks here. There's a lot more I could layer onto this. But for now, I just wanted to stick with just the mouth. So I hope this was helpful. I think we'll call it here. So let me transition back. Haha, full screen. So again, I hope this was helpful. If you do have questions, definitely let me know. But for now, I've got to get back to work. So take care, everyone. Best of luck on your assignments, or if you're doing your own animations, or if you just came here to watch. Thank you so much. And have a great day, and I'll see you hopefully on Sunday. take care and see you around. Bye.